The story of this manhwa is titled The Executioner. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel's growth. The story begins with a very fierce battle in a particular city. Many houses and buildings had been destroyed, laying the city to waste. After a long fight among themselves, the guy on black finally took down the guy on white, but the white guy was laughing instead of begging for his life. He told the guy on black that, as expected, he is different from those pieces of trash who died without putting up a proper fight. The black guy angrily told him to shut up, but the white guy didn't listen, and he asked the black guy to kill him, since he is the only one who deserves to kill him. At that moment, the black guy was really eager to kill and tear him into a million pieces. But he told the white guy that he won't be the one who is going to kill him, since he promised his comrades that he would let him stand before the judgment of law and be put on death row, and he shall be judged according to the law. But after the battle, he still regret his decision of not killing the white guy on spot. After the battle, there was a broadcast about the white guy whose name is Huang Sung Huan. He is one of the worst villain who had terrorized the world. He was sentenced to death after a fierce battle that caused multiple casualties. He is currently wearing a power-limiting device, and he is being held in Lucullus prison where the most heinous villains are imprisoned. His cell is located in the sub-basement 5 of the Lucullus prison. Additionally, for the ones who lost their lives fighting Huang alongside Co King Yu the hero, a joint funeral for the equality heroes would be held tonight. The black hair guy who fought the white guy was listening to the news while in the hospital, but it got switched. The black hair guy is Co King Yu, the protagonist of the story, and the television was switched off by Lucullus prison warden whose name is Co King Ho. He told King Yu not to be watching TV since he is sick. The warden is our protagonist brother, and he is a warden at Lucullus prison. King Yu told his brother in a very angry and frustrating tone that he should have killed the bastard Huang with his own hands instead of sending him over to the authorities. But his brother told him that he shouldn't think that way since he promised his colleagues that he won't kill villains. In the past, his dead colleague always tell him that a hero's job is to save people, not to kill them, and no matter how heinous a villain is, he shouldn't just kill them since they have the right to a trial by law. But he was in disagreement, because if heroes don't kill villains they might end up being the one killed instead. But she told him to promise him that no matter what happens, he won't kill a person. His brother also agreed with his colleague's ideology, since only the law can judge people, and the wardens are the only ones who are allowed to kill villains after they have been judged. He then told our protagonist a classified information, which is that Huang would be executed next week, and he would be taking part in it since he is a warden. So he told our protagonist to leave the finishing touch to them prison officers since he have fulfilled his role as a hero. He then stood up and told King Yu that they should go and say goodbye to his colleagues. And so he went to bid his goodbye to his colleagues who died fighting Huang. 1 week later, on the day of Huang's execution, his brother died. King Yu was completely broken since he had no idea why his brother, who was a prison officer, was the one that died, and the one who should have been judged by the law didn't die. He was heavily traumatized by his brother's death, and while he was mourning, a lady in uniform, together with some other men, approached him. The lady is Jo Se-yoon, rank 2 Lucullus prison officer. She told him that they should talk for a bit. Some minutes later, she showed him a video of what happened at the prison during Huang execution. Before the incident, everything was going according to the plan. The wardens were escorting the white guy to the place he would be executed. The guy then asked out protagonist brother if he is King Yu brother since they look so much alike. He didn't reply, and his silence already gave the white guy the answer he wants. The white guy then said, "It seems like you don't have any superpowers abilities. That's why you are working as a prison officer." So he asked him which one of them is the oldest, but he didn't reply, so he guessed right that he is the senior. He then asked our protagonist brother what kind of feeling he do get after killing someone. King Ho had no idea where the white guy is getting at with his questions. The white guy then said to King Ho, "You're a prison officer, so you must have killed like me, haven't you? What does it feel like?" But Kang Ho wasn't able to reply since he also have blood on his hands. The guy added, "I feel a little disappointed since the people I kill explode with just a slightly touch like soap bubbles." Kang Ho wasn't able to hold in his anger anymore, so he lashed out. He told the white guy that he hated it when he feel a tremendous sense of guilt when executing scums like him who don't seem human, even though all he did was just press a button with his finger. And this had caused him sleepless night and nightmare, since the death row inmates that he executed always torment him, even in his sleep, but he still continued to work as a prison officer because someone has to do it. They arrived at the execution ground. He then announced that from now on, they should proceed with the execution of death row inmate Huang. He then asked him through a microphone if he have any last words. The white guy replied of course he does, so he asked him who is the eldest between him and our protagonist, but he didn't reply. Instead, he announced the beginning of the execution. The button for the execution was to be pressed by 3 people at the same time. But before the countdown of 3 and as they were about to click the button, the video ended. Kang Yu was really angry and dumbfounded since he was unable to see what really happened. Continuing from where the video stopped, there was a sudden power outage in the prison. They thought it was a power failure, but to their surprise, it was an EMP attack, which caused the white guy to be free from his restraint. He bragged that there is no one capable of killing him except for our protagonist. Kang Ho immediately shouted that they should all get down. Luckily, they were fast enough or else they would have been hit by the sudden explosion, but there were multiple casualties. One of them tried asking for backup through the phone, informing them that the prisoner has unlocked the controlling device. But before he could repeat his report again, the white guy appeared behind him. At that moment, fear was written all over the warden's face, but before he could alter a single word, the white guy used his magic on him, and boom, the guy exploded into pieces. Kang Ho was traumatized by the gruesome scene, and he was unable to move an inch. He knelt down there, waiting for the god of death to smile on him. The white guy walked towards him, and he asked him which among him and our protagonist is the eldest. He didn't reply, and he pulled out his knife for a final struggle, but his hand was blasted off by the white guy. He couldn't help but scream on top of his voice, since the pain was overbearing. The white guy then asked him again if he is the eldest. Kang Ho didn't answer him. Rather, he used his left hand to pick up his weapon, and he told the white guy that he must receive and accept the judgment of the law. So he tried to hit the white guy again, but this time, he was blasted to paste, and the only thing that survived was his cap. Since he didn't get the reply he wanted, he decided to ask Kang Yu himself. That's how every single one of the warden died, including his brother. Sion then told him that currently, the controlling device has been released from the body of the prisoners of every floor. But among all the chaos, they were fortunate enough to at least prevent the prisoners from escaping. But many of the prison guards are locked up inside with the prisoners. Kang Yu then asked her the identity of the person who initiated the EMP attack, but she was unable to reply since they are still investigating it. She haven't told him what her intentions of coming over was. So she apologized first for the favor she is about to ask him in his elder brother's funeral. She then asked him if he could control the riot going on at Lucullus prison. He immediately replied of course, but in one condition, which was for him to enter Lucullus prison not as a hero, but as a prison guard. Since his colleagues used to say that the job of hero is to save people, not to kill them, the only thing which can give judgment to a person is law, and the one who enforces it are prison guards, and just like that he was given permission. So he arrived on the first floor in a prison guard uniform, immediately knocking down those that wanted to break the door. He said to them, "Nice to meet you, trash. I am the prison guard CO Kang Yu." The inmates were all in shock to see him. One of the inmates then asked him for the reason why a hero is wearing the uniform of a prison guard, but they don't really care about the reason why he came. They transformed, and they all charged out in order to kill him. But before they could even lay their hands on him, he clenched his fist tightly, and he took them all down with a single punch. This wasn't just an ordinary punch, since the body part of those who came charging forward were blown away. No one knew what happened nor how they died. The fear was written all over the face of the other inmates, and none of them dared to move an inch. Kang Yu then made an announcement that echoed through the prison floors. "Listen carefully, you pieces of trash. From now on, under the government's order, from the first floor, to sub-basement 1, sub-basement 2, sub-basement 3, Sub-basement 4, all the way to sub-basement 5, he would be taking over his brother's job. And now, the execution shall begin. The inmates on the first floor were surprised at the word execution, since they have no idea what he was talking about, since what he really meant was that he's gonna kill them all. Kang Yu then asked them if it's unfair that they are going to die, even if they have killed so many people. They were all in disagreement since they claimed that they haven't killed that much. Kelida shouted that he haven't even killed that many, but his kill record is 12. Brooks shouted that he can count the people he killed on both hands, but he have actually murdered 7 people. Cade, whose crime is child's kidnapping and murder, claimed that he have barely killed 1 hand's worth of people. They all started complaining, and they requested for their lawyers because he had no right to kill them since they are also human beings. And while they were all making noise, Choi Guan, who sexually assaulted and murdered 8 people, said to himself that he would pass through King Yu in an instant when he is distracted by other prisoners. He activated his powers, and he immediately passed through everyone with his high-tier speed. But when he thought his escape was successful, he was knocked back immediately by King Yu and killed in an instant.